7 All-Star appearances, 2 scoring titles, and a career average of 22.1 points. Those are some of the numbers that speak of Tracy McGrady's 12-year journey in the NBA. With 784 games, he certainly knows his way on the court. But in September of 2007, he would find himself in uncharted territory. Inspired by teammate Dikembe Mutombo and his ongoing efforts to help his native Democratic Republic of Congo, Tracy McGrady researched the many challenges faced by Africa.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to have you, man.
I'm on y'all home turf, so.
He found himself drawn to the overcrowded Sudanese refugee camps in the country of Chad.
I just got a call randomly one day that T-Mac, Tracy McGrady wants to go to Africa. I'm like, really? He wants to learn more about what this phenomenon of genocide is in Darfur, and he wants to go to the refugee camps. That was the genesis.
For 5 days, McGrady, his personal assistant, and human rights activist John Prendergast would live among refugees while a production crew would document the trip.
My main thing was to do something different. I wanted to go over there, hear the stories, and help bring their stories back over here so other people can hear, what's really going on. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, but it was the best thing, and it was a very, very humbling trip.
More than 250,000 Sudanese currently reside in eastern Chad, surviving as best they can, struggling every day with water and food shortages. Their plight started in 2003 when rebel groups in Darfur, West Sudan, rose up against the government. Described by the United Nations as one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, millions found themselves stuck in the middle of a gruesome conflict, facing beatings, rape, and death at the hands of both factions, especially Arab militias known as Janjaweed. Of all the stories McGrady heard during his trip, one woman's affected him the most.
Her husband went up in the mountains, and the Janjaweed, got a hold to him, gouged his eyes out, and just really don't like saying that, but that's what it really was. And his tongue, and just taking all his things out and putting them in a bag, and send it to his wife. That was one of the stories that just killed me. Like, this is for real. Like, I'm thinking, like, this can't be happening.
These kids were drawing pictures of, bombs and people with helicopters and guns shooting their parents. As Tracy was asking the kids questions, the answers were getting more and more intense. These children had no possessions. All of them were orphaned. At a certain point, Tracy said to our translator, that's enough. I think they've had enough questions. And looking back at it, I think in many ways that he was done with the questions as well. I think emotionally, I think he had enough.
I say on probably my last night there, I was laying in my bed, and I was just looking up at the ceiling and just reflecting on, my week and all the things that I've heard from everybody, and I really started crying, because it was just that bad, and it really hit me. You see these little kids with no supervision, 5 or 4-year-old with little infants on their backs, just walking around with no clothes on, no shoes on, no type of education, just nothing. Speaking of the teenagers and the kids, is education. They want to be educated.
Tracy McGrady decided to do more than just produce a documentary. In January of 2008, at his old high school in Auburndale, Florida, McGrady announced a sister school project that would pair schools in America with 72 schools that will either be built or rehabilitated across the 12 refugee camps in Chad.
It's up to us to really, really help these guys out, because, it's really bad,
The next step in this project was to recruit both athletes, who would provide the funding, and American middle schools, high schools and universities that would assist in fundraising and help fill the educational void faced by Sudanese refugee children. With that goal in mind, he held a private screening of his documentary in Los Angeles in November.
I actually thought it was a great turnout. I was a little nervous about it, wonder how people will perceive you after that, but getting some great feedback, and I feel comfortable now.
You can't walk away from a film like that and not do anything and feel like you're not a part of it and not a part of changing this world. So, it'll be great. It'll be great for all the NBA guys to see this.
Hopefully we get these schools up. Hopefully they have the peace that they want. And hopefully our government take notice of that, and in 5 years, I hope they're at ease, and I can sit back and tell my kids one day that I had a part of that.